back on Media Row for the PHLY Eagles podcast. Bo Wolf, Zach Berman, and Britain Covey is with us here. Thursday is the day when all the stars are here, and Britain is here. What am I wearing? What is this?
Okay, so this is my company that I'm working with. It's called a Morpho, and it's a weighted vest. As people know, I'm the smallest on the team, right?
Sure.
If someone asked me
Not in the locker room, but on the team.
Exactly. Okay. Yes, I got Boston Scott by a few inches, maybe not strength, but basically if you were to ask me to go put up like 225 and stuff, I'm just not strong like that. But I've seen a lot of guys who are strong in the weight room that aren't great football players. And so this company, what we've done is kind of create a vest that you can move around in, because I've always felt like it's better to lift the muscles that you know or you're actually going to use on the field. Because, you know what I mean? Someone can bench, but it's like, how often are you going to use that in a game, honestly? If you go run routes with this, you know you're working the exact muscles that you're going to use. So
it's like a donut for a baseball bat, but just for your whole body.
Exactly.
Feel
that's a good analogy.
Totally.
You can use that one in subsequent interviews if you want.
I like that, yeah. But they've also got like shirts and tights with the weights down the legs and stuff.
Okay.
So it's not a lot of weight, but that's kind of the goal of it, is it doesn't hurt your joints and it doesn't change your mechanics. So Ted Rath and our strength staff, they ordered like 30 of these once I gave it to them, and so that's the whole weight room. But it's helped me a lot, honestly, and I credit a lot of that I haven't missed any games in my career to stuff like this.
So my next interview, I'm going to be moving much faster.
Well, I put this on pregame, run a few, and then I take it off.
I do imagine for you, that has to be a major part of your training consideration. Is
100%.
I'm on the field with these giants. How do I stay healthy? How do I avoid big hits?
Absolutely, and I mean, even just with your performance, things like, say I put on 10 pounds, I still probably won't be able to block a linebacker as well as, a Julio Jones will.
Right. That's making a very small difference in your game.
A very small difference, and so you have to find ways to do that differently. And so, for example, I've found different ways to keep the linebacker's eyes on me without having to actually block him by different stem patterns or different things, and it's just as effective, if not more effective. And so you learn to focus on your strengths and kind of build on those, and not spend too much time on things that make a minor difference. You try and, you know what I mean? That's kind of what you do, and each person's different like that, but
there's a snugness to this, which is really comforting.
It's great.
I'm getting a nice hug.
I'm curious your perspective on this day, this experience. You were here last year as a player, right? So you didn't get the media row element of it. Walking around, I just saw Devontae, see Jordan Mailata. A bunch of your teammates are here. What's the experience like for you?
Yeah, I went and tackled Jordan.
Did he fall down?
Yeah, I mean, out of that.
Tackled. No, it's cool. I mean, I remember media last year at the Super Bowl, and it was shocking to me how much there was. I remember the Super Bowl feeling more like a concert performance than a game, because everything, even the timeouts were all 3 minutes longer, and the halftime was 15 minutes longer, and it just felt like a big performance.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. It's cool to be on this side of things, because I remember that was a little hard to do in the game. It just, even you'd have a big momentum swinging whatever, and then there'd be a 5-minute timeout, or something like that. So not fun to be here, really, watching it, especially because of how frustrating everything ended. But I think at the end of the day, I think this experience has been motivating for a lot of us.
I was sort of creepily following you to where you were going for your interview, because you were FaceTiming. It looked like you were on the phone with
my
son. This is an Eagles show, but I think secondarily, and maybe more importantly, this is a couple dads covering sports.
Yeah,
right?
Young dads too, like young kids. So
So I want to know, how was life in the NFL different this year as a father?
Oh man, well, I saw something that I actually totally related to, that it said, watching your kids excited when you come home will redefine your whole idea of success. And honestly, I think that's true. I want to be successful in my career, but I work harder for even different reasons now. And it was funny, because before one of the games, I was able to get sideline passes for my family, my wife and my son. And I had a fan yell at me focus on the game when I ran over to go say hi to them, because I was saying hi for a few minutes. He said, come on, get your head in the game. And, you know, fans say stuff all the time. You have no idea. I could tell stories like you wouldn't believe. But it was more of a moment of realization that was like, no, you don't understand. This is what motivates me. This is what makes me focus. Like, when I'm back to return a punt and I'm nervous, I think of my son, and I'm like, dude, I want to be able to tell my son that in the midst of all this pressure, I chose to do this, right? You know what I mean? So it really does. You add a layer of motivation, and you just want to be a good person. I don't know. Inside the locker room, is there a connection like with you and Devontae because you're experiencing the same 100%. Thing at the same time? We come in every morning, we're like, you sleep last night? You know? Luckily, well, I don't get it. Devontae sleeps like 4 hours a night. He's probably told you guys like a vampire. I don't get him. I mean, he sleeps 4 hours and then he takes like a nap, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I come in every morning with the different dads on the team, and I'm like, dude, how's sleep training going for you? Have you transitioned to solids yet? Have you know? So it's pretty fun. I want to sort of roll the dice a little bit here because I know that you get asked a lot about your grandfather's book, right? And Zach is a man of many sayings. If you just ripped off another saying, give me like both of you. I want to go back and forth, like maybe 3 of your favorite sayings to live your life by. Oh yeah. All right. Probably my favorite quote is by my grandpa, and he says, "Life isn't about accumulation; it's about contribution." And I think that's a good one. It's a great one because once you accumulate things, about 5 years later, you look back and you just realize, you know, cool, but it doesn't bring you the same joy and fulfillment and purpose that contribution does, whether that's to people's lives, to relationships. So that's a great one. Over to you. Well, I think people care about Britt's perspective more than mine. But so my favorites, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's I like it. I think it was Henry Ford who said it, but I learned it from my father. Basically, it's all about your attitude and your perspective. Okay. That's a very good one. I'll give you a spin-off one. All right. Before you criticize someone, walk a mile in their shoes. That way, when you do criticize them, you'll be a mile away, and you'll have their shoes. Yeah. That's from Jack Handy. Yeah. That's a good one. I don't know if I live my life by that. That's a good one. I would say the harder you work, the luckier you get, which, I had like sayings from John Wooden in my wallet when I was a kid, and that was one of them. So it's not as funny as the one Britton offered, but I wasn't prepared for the humorous ones. Nor was I prepared for the inspirational ones. Well, of course, but you've always got them. I do have. I do have them at the trigger. Good, yeah. Okay. Also he likes don't be the thermostat, be the thermometer. Yes, which actually, before Jalen used to say it, Mark Sanchez, when he was in Philly, I did a story on like being a quarterback, and I asked Mark about that. He said Mark Brunell taught him that. And he thought it was the most important lesson for a quarterback in the locker room is be the thermostat, not the thermometer. And I since used that when I met my wife, like saying the same thing. So so it's that came from Mark Sanchez. If you see Mark around, he gets credit for that. It. And what's the reaction back home, Britain? Like you just finished the season, you can finally be home, be a dad, but like, oh, I got to go out to Vegas for a couple of days. How'd that go? I mean, I've been home my wife's probably sick of seeing me, so I'm sure she's kind of happy, but. It's been good. I don't know how Tom Brady did it every year, man, with such a short offseason. It's really impressive. It's been good, and I'm excited. My body's starting to feel good. I had a little knee procedure done. Everyone has a procedure at the end of the year. Right. I mean, my whole last half of the season, I was like, I'm relying on adrenaline to get through this. Okay. So I had a little knee procedure done that helped me, and I'm already feeling better, and got that done like right when the season ended. Okay. And so I'm feeling good and excited, and talked to Coach Moore on the phone the other day, which is pretty cool. You get a new coordinator. I'm sure we'll have to go in a week early for OTAs and learn some new stuff and playbooks. And what was that conversation like? It was great. Yeah, it was just a simple kind of, here's what he's trying to do. This is kind of what I am trying to do, Coach, and what I was doing towards the end of the season. And I'm excited. It wasn't like a big thing, but it was more just like introductions, and this is what we're going to try and do this year on offense. But I know if I could follow up on that. Yeah, go ahead. Because we've known you for 2 years primarily as a returner. Right. Do you see yourself having more of a role in the offense, at least this spring and summer? Yeah, I do. I mean, towards the end of the season, I had guys advocating for me to play some more on the offense, guys on the team and veterans and things, which was always comforting to me. It's like, okay, it's not just me seeing it. It's the, and I think what really hurt me last year was not being able to play any preseason. Because if it were a real game, I would have played, but I needed to be smart, right, with my knee and hamstring and stuff. And so I definitely know that I can be a good receiver, especially I'm not delusional. I can't be a receiver one in the league, Even you got to be a special, even have different body types and things like that. But I know I can be an effective slot receiver. I mean, I do it in practice all the time.
Right.
And Jalen trusts me, and he tells me that, and that's what makes me happy. But who am I, Devontae, AJ, Julio, it's kind of tough to crack that rotation, and the receiver 3 in this offense doesn't need to be ball-centric when you've got AJ and Devontae.
Sure.
You just need to be able to affect the game in some way. That's why they liked Quez, right? With speed.
I
don't know what
shape
Quez is doing.
Defense,
maybe he's coming back. And for me, I believe I can do that because you have to be aware of where I am at all times. I'm too much of a threat in my mind, speaking with the ball in my hands, and I'm smart. That's kind of what I bring to the table. And so I'm like, if I can affect the game even without touching the ball, I feel like it opens things up. Like I said, don't make me block a linebacker. Let me run a bubble, bring the linebacker out of the box because he has to respect it.
Right.
Screens, little option routes. So yeah.
And one of the sort of like rudimentary things that we have like learned from the outside of Kellen Moore's offense is like he does want to take advantage of that slot spot. Are you the kind of person who has like started to do your research on his offenses?
I have, yeah. I mean, even when he was the quarterback's coach and Cole Beasley was there, I've watched him. This year I'm going to be training with Austin Collie.
Let's hope you're not a rapper like Cole Beasley. Okay.
This year I'm going to be training with Austin Collie, who, if you remember, was on the slot receiver for the Colts, and he's brilliant. And so I'm, like I said, I don't know what my role will be. I do believe that I'll get opportunities. I'm not, I'm not shy about my feelings about what I could do, but it will take time, I know. And so I just own my role, whatever that is, and then hopefully it grows.
If I can sneak one last question because we have to wrap it up here, is the Brazil game was announced this week. Your reaction to that?
You just did a whole interview in Spanish over there.
Uh-huh. It's not Portuguese, but I'll bet there'll be some Latin American radio down there that I can do it for. I'm excited. I've always wanted an international game, We're going to lean on Tanner McKee for the Portuguese, but I'll take care of the Spanish. All
right. Well, Britain Covey, thank you so much for taking the time with us here from Radio Row at the Super Bowl. Feeling nice and loose, ready to go for my next interview. Thanks so much, Britain.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
We all silly like the mayor.